We are live and direct once again, and we are IPOB truth bearers, the flag bearers of the truth, in regard to Biafra restoration, in regard to the freedom of our people, and by the grace of God, we go beyond social freedom to even to divine freedom, the freedom people need spiritually and otherwise. And that is our custom. Our custom is speaking the truth to justice, speaking the truth to intimidation, speaking the truth to false witnessing, speaking the truth to censorship, speaking the truth against all lies and deception, against all humiliation, against all annihilation of the people, against the evil, satanic government of Nigeria, the evil and satanic government of Britain, and all of their allies, all of their co-conspirators who have colluded and joined among themselves, connived to destroy Biafrans, to destroy our future, to destroy our generations, which they have planned, started long ago. And we never knew how old Biafra had been. And today we are going to know that Biafra had been in existence for many years ago, for many centuries, for over 500 years. We are going to hear about it today from our great leader, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. So today's message will be focused more on the lecture regarding the history of Biafra. So it is a very wonderful lesson, and you have the great privilege to be a part and parcel of today's program. So your attention is needed. You have to listen very, very carefully, because from this platform we educate the gullible, we educate the ignorant, we educate the illiterate, and we also reason with the reasonable. We reason with the reasonable, and there are people who are knowledgeable, but they are not wise. As such, need to be educated, and that is the reason we function. There are people who are academically far more educated than us, yet they are foolish. They are not wise. The reason being that wisdom is the proper application of relevant knowledge. There are people who have the relevant knowledge, but they cannot apply it properly, and that makes them foolish rather than becoming wise, and that makes them unlearned. There is a difference between knowledge and the wisdom. So they have the knowledge, but they lack the wisdom. From here we teach them wisdom. We educate them on how to be wise. Even the Bible which we read, it says that he who knows, or whoever that knows the right thing to do but fails to do it, it is to the person foolishness and sin. So it is not about having degree. After all, the majority of our politicians have degree. A lot of them studied overseas, but what have they produced to the favor of the people with their education? They only go to overseas to be educated on how to be subservient to the Europeans, on how to sell our rights, sell our future, market everything, and gathering the money and go back to invest them in overseas, claiming to have foreign investment while our people are dying back home. And whenever they are used, after using them, the allegation will be leveled against them. What is the fate of Ike Madu today? And the Peter Obi is the next target. Even though no matter how much they have used him, look at allegation coming from here and there, and his life is under threat of the Nigeria terrorist government of mafia politicians. Some people threatening him to move away, to go to exile. Why should they be threatening a citizen if Nigeria is really a country to go to exile? But this is possible only because Nigeria is not really a country. It is not a nation. But we were all deceived to believe that it is a nation. Even until today, I know that Nigeria have not gotten independence. Yet many of us formerly believed that Nigeria had been independent since 1960. Since 1960 until today, Nigeria had not been independent. Nigeria still depends on Britain, depend on America, depend on China, depend on all of the people that borrow money to Nigeria to come and rob us of our natural resources, robbing us of our future, robbing us of our everything. These are the people the Nigerian terrorist government of Fulani still depend upon. But the majority of us now are beginning to be awoken. Then the work of the IPOB and our work precisely as IPOB truth bearers is going so far to emancipating our people for psychological blindness. We are eliminating you. We don't hate you, and we talk to you the way we talk to you so that we get your attention, so that you'll be able to listen. But the worst problem we have on this earth is that the truth, the reality, and the fact are the products that are slowest in the market movement. The things that sell the slowest are these three things, these three factors: the truth, the reality, and the fact. And that is exactly our product. So I am not well paid because of the people, the number of the people who pay attention to us. But I am pained that the majority of the people pay attention to falsehood. And that is the reason after everything, they come back to cry. After everything, they come back to cry. We told them that obedience should not be the solution. I still maintain my stand. And that is what I already know. But the majority decided obedience. But today, what is the fate of the obedient? They will be turning our people around. Come today, come tomorrow. Why not report to court? Why the court is in the control of the Nigerian government? Why don't you report to police? Nigerian government control the police. Why don't you take it to the army? They control the army. Why Britain control the entirety of Nigerian government? Then there is what is called global conspiracy, but the Britain and the rest, they are in a conspiracy against the Biafran people, against you who believe you are a Nigerian citizen, while Nigeria is not really a nation. Nigeria is not a country, but a contraption, but a market zone to the conspirators. So this is what we continue to educate you about, until you come to the realization that Nigeria is not a country, and Nigeria is not made to be a country, but Nigeria is made as a fraud to keep delaying people, that is depriving people, subjugating people, and conquering people, giving them false hope. That is what Nigeria is made of, and to the benefit of the colonialists, the Britain, the foreign terrorists like the Britain and the rest of them, the foreign terrorists like the Fulanis and their cohort. So that is what Nigeria is built of, where you will be given false hope, while you keep hoping they are still robbing you, advancing and to conquering you more and more. What shall we say about Muslim ticket? That is what they are fighting for, and it is obvious to all of us. So we cannot deny the fact, and it is our duty, it is our collective responsibility as a people to fight back. To fight back, I have not said anybody should go and carry ammunition yet, but let us start the fact by accepting the truth, by facing the fact, by facing the reality, for us to be focused, because without these three things, we can never be focused. Then the distractions become one of the instruments the oppressors use against the populace. So my people, you are to wake up. You are to wake up. I am playing my part. Me and my comrades here, we are playing our part very, very correctly. So you must play your part. You must play your part. And you play your part only when you begin to be a man of your own, a woman of your own. The populace, I mean, the citizens, the indigenous people, from Oduduwa, from Biafra, from Arawa, beginning to have what is called self-determination. When you be deciding how you should rule yourself, how we should rule ourselves. It is not about terrorist government deciding on how to rule us. What should we say about the recent killing in Benue State? That is what they want to continue. It is all about that conquering, and the Fulanis are bragging that in a very short while that the governor, the Benue State governor, Samuel Otom, will come down, another person taking over. He will be a good friend to Fulanis, who will give Fulanis territory. And they have been boasting that they will definitely take over the Benue State. And from there, they will continue to advance. And their aim is to dip their Quran inside of the Atlantic Ocean. That is the Atlantic Ocean that flows alongside Odudua Arewa and the Biafra land, to take over all of the places, Fulanizing it, Islamizing it, to your own detriment, to my detriment, to the detriment of our children, of our future generations. And that is what we have come to say no to. I am the serviceable servant evangelist Imakal, who hails from Ohafia. Ohafia is in Biafra land. Ohafia is in Abia, and Abia is in Biafra land. I domicile in the city of Valencia, Spain, from where I am echoing my voice to the world. So without further delay, let me pass the microphone to my sister, comrade Mama Patricia Omumere. The microphone to you. Speak to the world, speak to Biafrans, introducing yourself.
Yeah, sorry, please. Thank you,
Okay.
Collins.
God
Good
bless you.
afternoon, dear friends. Good evening, good morning, and whatever is your time. We are here back again on course because we must continue. We must continue the baton that has been handed down to us from our generals. One General Ojukwu of the blessed memory, and that of our Mazi Ohamadike of Biafra, the child of God that is whiter than white, the child of God that has given everything he has in him to make sure that you and I are free from the slavery of the British, of the Fulani, and the other allies who do not want the people of God to come and be free. But Mazi said, it has been written. He came to proclaim this gospel of redemption. He came to make sure that the light shines from the horizon. He came to make sure that that Biafra that was removed from the map by the British government and by the demons, the beast of the world, British, America, Fulani, terrorists, and so on and so forth. Mazi came to put back that name upon the world map because that it was how God made it. And no human being can stop what God has initiated. Once God begins his work, he brings it to the end. That was why Mazi said it will be a miracle. It's gonna be a miracle because as things are playing out now, so many hearts are falling there. So many are dropping back. So many are being sold because of the God of Mammon. But we are standing here, passing through to us, to Biafrans, to lovers of freedom, to those who want to be free, that we are here without compromising, without relenting a bit, but with truth and honesty. That which has been handed down to us, that which Paul, even in the Bible said, we will not but declare what we have had, what we have touched, and what we are living in. That is what we are coming to testify. Not of our words, but of the words of the servant of God who has impregnated us. And he says, buy this truth and sell it not. Once you know your identity, who you are, once you know that the freedom will never be given to you by your oppressors, there is no need for you to be dancing around the mountain. There is no need for you to continue staying in your pity party. There is no need for you to be calling on demons to help you because they have come to steal, kill, and destroy. But the Son of God, the Son of Man, has come to declare the way, the pathway to freedom. And that pathway to freedom is Biafra. And that Biafra has caught up with us. That is why you cannot buy our soul. Neither are we going to trade it in any business with any world powers. What we need is Biafra, because Nigeria has expired since 2014. Their so-called president died in 2017. What more are you waiting? Everyone that is, hanging on to the dead cow, waiting for a new Nigeria, waiting for reformation, waiting for this or for that. You cannot put old wine to a new wine. It cannot work. Mazi said, this whole contraption is beyond redemption. There is no need to go out and be creating groups for the benefit of the Europeans, benefit of Britain, benefit of America, of France, or even to your own detriment for the Fulanis, the wanderers in the desert who has no place to stay because they have been cursed and they are looking for your land and my land to come and take. We have to be wise. Those of us that are in here holding the line for Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, that up till this time, his life is nothing to him. His life is nothing to him. What is important to him is freedom, and that freedom is God enacted. God is the author of freedom, and no flesh, no human, no spirit can stop that which God has himself introduced, himself established, himself showed the example, and his follower, his son Mazi, came down and we had him with our 2 ears. We have been born again to know the truth, the light, and Biafra we have come to redeem alongside with him. It doesn't matter how many of you that are over there making it a business, making it a better business. It doesn't matter, because the consequences of disobedience, the consequences of Judas Iscariot, it is still going on because God exists. We trust and we keep on moving. We keep on walking, doing that while the sun shines, because night cometh while nobody will work again. This is our time to redeem ourselves and Biafra, and we can do it. We can make it. My name is Patricia. I am from Anambra. Anambra is in Biafra land. Biafra is a nation, but Nigeria is a contraption and will never be a nation. Shame to those who are still holding on to make it live. It will never live. Thank you, and get yourself down here and spread this message. Give us your opinion. We are all here to make it happen. Thank you. Collins, I give back to you.
God bless you greatly, Mama Patricia. That's a very wonderful one. Over to you, veteran, without any delay. You muted yourself. Hello, veteran. Can you unmute yourself? Oh, veteran is out. Mama Patricia, veteran is out. So I will begin immediately to play. Let us pray, then
of the very finest order. We have come to expose that is hidden. We have come to remind ourselves of the cost of nonchalantness. We have come this evening that heaven and earth may bear witness to that which IPOB is doing and will continue to do until Biafra is restored and beyond. We have come to let mankind and humanity testify not only to the goodness of the Most High Elohim, but to say that in their time there was IPOB and they preached the gospel of heaven. Chukwukika listened to their cry and they became free men and women. If you haven't listened to us before, it is a unique privilege, I can assure you. Wherever you are listening to us from, it is incumbent upon you also to ensure that this very gospel is propagated to the ends of the earth, because we are not like any other. This very platform, this radio Biafra, is listened to across the entire 24 time zones on this very planet. By none, we are unstoppable. We are the largest mass movement in the whole world. We are not sponsored by anybody. We are not financed by anybody. Chukwokika Biama in heaven is in absolute control. And that is why Biafra will come, not minding all the shenanigans of the Janjaweed, not minding all the plots of the wicked, not minding the iniquitous disposition of Ohanes and Biatron and Diochi and the Igbo governors. We are marching ahead relentlessly. They have come into our land, but we shall meet them. We will confront them sooner rather than later. And I can assure you we are going to emerge victorious. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night to some of you. Wherever you are listening to us from, wherever you are domiciled, we have come to preach the gospel of heaven. We have come that the light of Elohim may shine upon us. We have come that the promises of old may be fulfilled in the lives of those who are the children of light. My name is Nnamdi Kanu. I welcome you this very evening, and as I do so, please, I will encourage you to speak to those around you, to also welcome them. I expect you to propagate this very link to the ends of this very earth. I expect you to let your friends and your family know. And for those of you that have left their homes this evening to listen to the broadcast in the car outside, pretending you're making a call, I also welcome you. There are those who are hiding inside the cupboard. There are those who have now said to their wives that they have a job to do in the basement. They have run away. They have gone to listen to us, that their lives will be enriched, that their understanding may grow exponentially, that their encapsulation of what is happening in a damnable zoological republic may make sense to them. That is why we are here, to preach this very gospel of heaven uncompromisingly and steeped in the truth that it should come with, and that it always has to come with. We must pray this very evening before we proceed, because we have a lot to get through. Today, as always, we are going to be interactive. Our lines are not open yet. Please, I suggest you do not call us. Our lines are not open. When I will open the line, or when eventually we do open the line, I will inform you accordingly. Right now, we must hand over our proceedings to the Most High. And this very evening, I got very interesting, should I say, messages from people who begin to question what we are doing with our faith. And in order to reassure them and to all those who are listening, that we hear the 10 Commandments is key. That is why we are going to pray the prayer of Yeshua. A very simple prayer, because the disciples asked him, Lord, how do you want us to pray? And Yeshua said to them, this is the way you pray. By Yeshua, I mean Jesus Christ to Western European Christians. We must pray. Our Father who art in heaven, because there is no other like thee. There are no 2 or 3 gods. It is only you, indivisible, ancient of days. Thou art in heaven, because you reside in the firmament of the unknown. You inhabit the realm of the spirit. You are not flesh or not man. Hallowed be thy name. Hallowed be thy name, because there is none like thee. Thy kingdom will come on this very earth, as you have promised us in the land of Biafra. Let thy will be done in our life that is it in heaven. Give us this very day our daily bread, even in coronavirus season. For we have no other God apart from thee. Yeshua was asked, how do we pray? And Yeshua said, there is only one God in heaven. And he said, Nani nke bi n'igwe ka aha gị dị nsọ ka alaeze gị bịa ka eme ihe na-achọ dike si eme ya n'igwe ka emekwu ya otu a n'ụwa nye anyị nri taa nke ga-ezuru anyị ụbọchị taa gbaghara anyị mmehie dịka anyị onwe anyị si wee gbaghara ndị mere anyị ihe ọjọọ edubara anyị n'ime ọnwụnwa kama zọpụta anyị n'aka ajọ ihe n'ihi na alaeze niile bụ nke gị ike niile bụ nke gị otuto niile bụ nke gị site n'ebighị ebi ma ruo n'ebighị ebi. He said, that is the prayer of heaven. That was the prayer that Yeshua prayed to show there is no other God apart.
Okay, veteran. There was a connection problem. Then can you go straight ahead, introducing yourself, giving your preliminary word to Biafrans and the humanity at large? So I don't know what happened. The place you are, there is a beam of sun shining behind you, and that makes your face invisible because the sun is just glittering directly to the camera, to the face of your phone. So yes, now it is yeah, very, very nice. Very, very nice. Just go ahead, veteran.
Thank you, Inimakal.
God bless you, really good.
Thank you, my comrade, the lioness of Biafra.
Bless you, Mazi.
I want to greet you all, the remnants, Biafra remnants, lovers of freedom, lovers of Biafra, lovers of the kingdom of God here on earth, lovers of the servant of the Most High, Mazi Nnamdi Ukwu. We thank you from here and we bless you from here. Today is another day of sharing. Today is another day of quickening your minds, quickening our hearts. Today is another day of reflecting on the truth which God says will make us free. Nothing else can make us free. It is only the truth that can set us free. So we say we reflect on it because we do not know where all these confusions are coming from. We do not know from where all these people gather to make careers, investments of the message and the messenger of God. It is a pity. However, we have to believe, only believe that what God has given to his servant and what he has told him must be fulfilled. And what is it? That Biafra must be restored. With or without the global conspirators. Because it is funny. As I was talking to my comrades, that the UN, United Nations, after the World War II, made a declaration of human rights, which included so many things: freedom of speech, freedom of self-determination, so many things that has to do with the sovereignties. And yet, in our own case, they remain silent and dormant, which goes to show us that that declaration was not for the blacks. The Human Rights Declarations, I'm challenging you, the UN, but that declaration is not for the blacks. If it were for the blacks, the ultimatum you gave to the zoo, Nigeria, to release Mazen Nnamdi Kanu, who has been acquitted and declared free, still remains in the dungeon of Britain and the Fulanese. Is it not very sad? You have carried your weapons, everything you have, to fight Russia because of what is that country again?
Ukraine.
Because of Ukraine. You've sent your NATO, you have sent everything to defend them, to fight on their behalf. Here in the Western world, the citizens of Ukraine are pampered. They are treated first before any other immigrant. But we fought a war in the years 1967 to 70, and you conspired and killed us. You conspired to exterminate us, Britain and the UN. All of you conspired. And you treated us with the chemical and the biological weapons. You faced us with the starvation. Even in Italy here, they know Biafra as the hungry people. People that cannot, has nothing to eat. People that are very, very wretched and poor. And that is your handwork, UN, Britain, and your conspirators. Yet, our people, the Biafrans, continue to walk in the way they are walking. Continue to walk against the servant of God. Continue to walk against the eternal leader, General D. Modmed Gojuku. It is very sad that we cannot learn, despite all that has been taught us. Our eternal leader had no time to teach because so this was what he did. He couldn't swallow all the massacres that were going on. He couldn't swallow the butchering of all from Eastern region that are known as Biafra. As long as you wear the face that does not look like the Fulani or Hausa or Yoruba, you are slaughtered. People's pregnancy were cut into pieces. The fetus removed and shattered. You saw it, UN. You saw it, America. What Britain did to us. Because we are not talking about the Fulanis. We are talking about Britain. Britain that sponsored, supervised, and pioneered the massacre of Biafrans. Britain that is continuously sponsoring, supervising the killings of Biafrans. Our leader have said it. Our general said it. That Nigeria is not a nation and can never be a nation. And our messenger, the messenger of the Most High God, broke it down and gave you all the reasons in this world why Nigeria is not a nation and will never be a nation. And yet we have our people. Johannes Ndoshin Andang, the so-called elite, Ndoshi, who claim they studied abroad and bragging with their foreign investments. How many of the people you studied in their place come back to their country to brag of their foreign investment? Do they not channel their power and their studies and their knowledge to developing their places? Why are we different? Biafrans, remnants, our leaders, our eternal leader, our supreme leader have done their own part. They have laid down their lives for me and you. They have laid down all they had, sacrificed all for you and for me. And yet, we are not appreciating it. And yet, we are joking with our future, with the future of our children, our children's children, and the entire Biafra. We are in this platform for this awareness that we may rethink, and know that there is no nation like Nigeria, and know that there is nothing like one Nigeria, because no other nation carry that, what do you call it, that prefix on itself. You never had one Britain, not one America, not one Russia, not one Germany, not one France, not one Swiss, but you who are defending one Nigeria. Nigeria is inseparable. Nigeria is indivisible. Nigeria is whatever you like. But there is nothing on earth that is indivisible, that is not divisible, that is not separable. We have demonstrated it to you before. There was a time atom was said to be the minutest and it cannot be divided. But today, you don't talk of atom as indivisible again. Because the more you go, the more the discoveries go on. Marriages have been broken. Whether the materials have been broken, what is there in the zoo that warrants indivisibility? Well, Biafrans, wherever you may be, please think well, reflect, and take your ground. Let us get this Biafra once and for all. I am Silas Honor. I hail from Umuleka Amibo in the Old Olu province. Please come with your own reflections. Come and listen, come and hear, come and contribute. Because this is only the way out. God bless you all. Thank you very much.
God bless you.
Be aware of it. This very evening, morning, night, noon, depending on where you are. Because the zoo is collapsing. The zoo is gone. It is our responsibility to highlight the inadequacies of the damnable contraption, that mankind may know that there is no country called Nigeria. It is dead, long gone and buried. Today, I will also use some of the history lessons that I have been giving on my Facebook page. I will also allude to some of the things, and should I say some of the comments that we have been receiving. I will use them to also augment our program this very evening. I will suggest that those of you who can't go to my page also do so as you're listening. If you scroll through the posts I have made since Wednesday, you will see some of the issues that we will be discussing this very evening. Because, as I have said, just before we came on air, somebody kept saying to me, where is the map of Biafra? And I said to them, are you that dumb? Are you that stupid? Did you not see that Ojukwu had a map when he was, should I say, when Biafra was declared? Have you not seen the map of Biafra on Google? Have you not seen the map of Biafra all over the place? But they kept insisting. They said you are not Ojukwu, you are Nnamdi Kanu. You said Elohim sent you to do this very job. Therefore, show us the boundaries of Biafra. And as I've always preached in the past, I was led in the spirit to reveal what I never intended to reveal to mortal minds. I said to him, if you're traveling, or should I say, if you're entering Biafra land from anywhere, from the north, from the east, or from the west, because you cannot approach Biafra from the sea. And I said to them, as you're traveling along, you will see many people, you will see many women, you will see many traditions, you will see many cultures, but as soon as you see women tying two-piece wrapper, you know you're in the land of Biafra. Anywhere they stop tying two-piece of wrapper, you know you are at the boundary of Biafra. He was flabbergasted. He couldn't understand it. And then I proceeded to say to him, do you know the meaning of a nation? He said Nigeria is a nation. I said no, Nigeria is not a nation. It is not even a country. Nigeria is a contraption. Whereas Biafra is a nation. And he was wondering, he kept pressing me, how can you say Biafra is a nation? It doesn't exist. And I said to him, Biafra have been existing for over 5,000 years. Biafra existed before Zamfara came. Biafra existed before Bini came. And Bini and Zamfara are the two oldest kingdoms you have in the whole of West Africa. Kanem Bronu came later on. And he was confused, he was perplexed. And I told him that we are educated. We are polished and we are refined. Everything we tell you is the truth. Everything we tell you is the gospel. Nigeria is not a nation. Biafra is a nation. And this evening, very methodically and academically, I will school you through all the steps and all the indices of a nation. That you may know that Nigeria is not a nation and can never be. To prove it once and for all and put it to bed tonight, that Biafra is indeed a nation before Britain. Biafra is older than Greece. Biafra is older than any other nation that I can think of. Perhaps going back to Mesopotamia. Biafra is very, very old, and I want to prove it to you what makes a nation, that those things are lacking in the zoo called Nigeria. I'll prove it to you tonight. We are taking a tour in academia tonight before we get to the janjaweed falling into our homes in Biafra land and what they're doing to us, and what we must do individually and collectively to ensure that our next generation will inherit the land of Biafra. Now listen very carefully, please. If you don't have your pen and your paper ready with you, then you're missing something. Because I don't want to go or answer this question again. I want to put it to bed tonight. Those who don't know the meaning of a nation, I want to put the entire argument to bed tonight and to demonstrate not only convincingly, but irrefutably, that Biafra is the only nation that you have in the damnable contraption. Now listen to the definition of a nation and why our mothers. I said it live on air many years ago that any day our mothers come out to join what we are doing, that Biafra will come. And I'm glad that they are coming. And do you know one thing is that Biafra is a mother nation. We say motherland, we don't say fatherland. And we say motherland for a reason. Because everything about our culture, the way we are, who we are, is embodied in our women, in our mothers. When we hear about people talking about feminism and to give women more rights and equal power, and like I said to them, you have not been to Biafra. That in Biafra land, our women are the people who actually run our day-to-day lives. That is how it's always been. I have not heard of where women are discussing in the village and men will come out to talk. It's not done anywhere, not in Biafra land. That is why Chukwuemeka used our mothers to give us the boundary of Biafra, all the way from Edo State, all the way from Benue State, right down to the Atlantic Ocean. Anywhere they tie two-piece wrapper, that is the land of Biafra. And I will prove to you why that is the case. You know, some idiots are saying, oh, but you can't hear, are you telling me that it's just wrapper? I said, because you know nothing. Academically, you are nobody. Absolutely nobody. Because if you can see in the spirit, you will be able to appreciate what we are trying to teach you. Now listen carefully. A nation state is a state in which, listen carefully, in which a great majority, listen, shares the same culture and is conscious of it. They did not say language. They did not say religion. They did not say social habits. They said you must share the same culture. I repeat, not religion, not language, not social, they said culture. And you must be aware of it. The nation state, listen carefully to, go to Google and Google it. Define a nation. I'm coming. Listen carefully, please. A nation state is an ideal in which, in which cultural boundaries match up with political boundaries. Do you understand it now? A nation is a place where the culture begins and ends. In other words, people that share the same culture, not the same language, not the same religion, but the same culture. And what is that one culture that binds the whole of Biafra together, regardless of where you come from? Because as I was doing my research, you know, it seems to me that Ishekiri is in doubt or in dispute. I saw the way that Ishekiri women dress. I looked at the way that Yoruba women dress. It's not the same. I looked at the way Ishekiri women dress. I looked at the way ethnic women dress, and it's the same. I looked at the way that ethnic women dress. The way Igbo women dress is the same. I looked at how Igbo women dress. I looked the same thing in Urobo. I saw the same thing in Isoko. I saw the same thing. Everywhere you look, it is the same thing. Our mothers actually defined who we are, where we come from, and where we should be heading. Because they said to me that in Warri, you have the Olu of Warri, it is Yoruba. And I said to them, no, look at your mom should tell you who you are. Because that's what people say, we speak our mother's tongue. What is your mother tongue? What is your mother's tongue? And I said to them earlier today in the post that I made on my Facebook page, and I said to them, if you want to know if you're a Biafran or not, go and look at your mom's wardrobe. I'm not asking you to go and start looking for your mother's underwear. I said, look at your mom's wardrobe. Look at her when she's dressed up to attend women's meeting. Look at your mother. Headscarf, blouse, two-piece wrapper. Two-piece wrapper. And where we come from, how you know a woman has just been married or newly married is the way she ties her two-piece wrapper. That's how you know a newly married woman. If you go to the village, you're struggling to find out who has been recently married. Look at the way they tie the two-piece wrapper. They can never get it right. It's an art. And this art is performed in Idoma, in Igala, in Igede, in Igbo land. All over, of course, Anyama is Igbo. Let me know you can go there. All over in Ishekiri. It is there in Ishekiri. They tie two-piece wrapper. In a job, two-piece wrapper. Every two-piece wrapper, or an two-piece wrapper, headscarf and blouse everywhere. I posted it on my page and I asked people to tell me the difference. Tell me who are they said, Igbo women, Igbo is everything. I said, no, it is not. You are looking at your mothers from all over Biafra land. All over Biafra land. And they looked at the picture of a Yoruba woman. They saw the picture of a Fulani woman. Even Fulani do not dress like Hausa women. Hausa doesn't dress like Kanuri women. But we allowed ourselves to be balkanized. We allowed ourselves to be divided. We allowed ourselves to be ground into the dust by a combination of three deadly factors. Three. It was started by Britain. They taught Fulani. Fulani convinced Yoruba. They all ganged up against us. Their aim is to divide, so that when you are coming to Biafra land and you enter inside Benue, they say, oh no, this is not so. But look at your mother and look at the way they dress in Sokoto. Is it the same? The people that they are telling you is more closely related to you. You don't have anything in common. I don't even want to go to the fact that in Idoma land, in 280 years ago in Idoma land, when they came, they killed, and they pillaged Idoma land. They turned away. What is happening now has happened before. It has happened 3 times in our history. They went to Yoruba land and they took Ilorin from them. They came to our land, they never succeeded. They only managed to take some parts of the Ghana. Only the northern part of the Ghana, but the southern part of the Ghana remained very strong. They couldn't take them to Sokoto. And many men died in that very war. If you're from Anambra State and you have an elderly man tonight in Anambra, anybody who is over 100 years old in Anambra and a man that has got all the thinking faculties intact, go to him and ask him, did your father ever tell you, or people, is there any legend in your village that there was a time there were no men in the Idoma land, that Igbo men had to go to Idoma land to impregnate the women to give birth to sons and to daughters according to the Bible? What the Bible said should happen. Did that ever happen or not? Ask any elderly man in Anambra right now, over 100 years old and can articulate properly. Ask him, did you ever hear of people, men from Anambra going into Idoma land and Enugu and Anambra going to Idoma land to go and make sure that their women procreate to give birth to the next generation of Idoma or not? Ask them. And you'll be shocked And as they are dividing us and they are coming, they divide and they conquer you. As they are divided, they capped off Idoma, they capped off Ijede, they conquer them, say you're part of the North. Ask them, what is the title of the overall traditional ruler of Idoma land? He's called Ochi Idoma. Ochi Idoma means Onyenachi Idoma. A simple Igbo word. Ochi, somebody, a ruler. Onyenachi Ochi Idoma is called. And as I said about 2 weeks ago, or should I say a week ago, they have 4 market days. The name of their first child again is Ada. And somebody who is answering Fatima from Mali, all the way from Mali, will come into them. Hey, Igbo man is a problem. And you that is telling that Igbo man is your problem, he cannot even differentiate between an Igbo woman and a Idoma woman, or a Igbo woman and the Igbo woman. They cannot tell. Because when they start killing you in the north, they are pursuing women wearing a blouse and 2-piece wrapper. They're not going to ask you, oh, are you Igbo? They will kill everybody. It doesn't matter if you're a job. It doesn't matter if you're in security. It doesn't matter if you're a rebel. Because you will tie 2-piece wrapper. That's how you know a responsible mother in Biafra land. Before you get married, they can be tying that wrapper that is like above the knee. Once you're married, you go 2-piece wrapper, isn't it? That's how you know a responsible married woman. Is that not correct? Now you tell me why somebody selling Furadunu wearing a Fulani Peteri will now convince you that you are not related to an Igbo person. Whereas your own mother and an Igbo woman is exactly the same. And you also circumcise on the 8th day after a male child is born. Why I'm saying all these things this evening is to try and prove to you that our boundaries are well defined. Our boundaries reside in our mothers. Because Biafra is a motherland, it's not a fatherland, it's a motherland. Our women, they are like a vessel. They contain everything you need to know about Biafra. If you're intelligent enough, if you're attentive enough, if you're understanding enough, if you can get away from Yoruba media disastrous brain damage, you will understand what I'm saying and what I'm telling you. Therefore, now let me ask you this question. Is a majority of Nigerians racial the same culture? The answer is no. Even Kanuri in the north, the only thing tying Kanuri to Fulani is religion, is Islam. The only thing, two things tying Hausa to Fulani, the women don't even dress the same. The only thing tying Hausa to Fulani is language, Hausa language, and religion. That's all. Do they have any cultural affinity in the answer is no. The Fulanis, they have MS. You don't have MS in Bruno. It was when the Fulanis came and introduced the MS. Before the Fulanis came, they had the shape of Bruno, not an MS. Before the Fulanis came, the houses had kings, not MS. So even culturally, they have nothing in common. Absolutely nothing in common. But the collective idiocy and stupidity of the native nations within the contraption called Nigeria is what gave Fulani the leeway to be doing what they're doing. And we must all be wiser. That is why they have decimated the middle belt. And now they're coming to the east. And as they are coming, you will not hear any Yoruba newspaper write about it or say that what is happening is bad. I have been trying to read an editorial from a Yoruba newspaper condemning what the Janjaweed are doing in their march down south. I have not seen it anywhere. Which goes to show that Yoruba media are working with them to conquer us. And that is why I am angry with them. That is why I vent my frustrations. And I tell them. And they say, oh, he hates Yoruba. No, I don't. I hate your media. I hate their lies. And I hate what they're doing. Because one day you will get it. They know if they attack Yoruba land first, that I will give order and command to men Men who got fight alongside Yoruba men.
Okay. Mama Patricia, are you available? So far, so good. IPOB emerges victorious, respite of Ohanese's fight against us, the IPOB. That is what Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has said. And to prove that, Ohanese collided with Nigerian government, including all of the Southeast government, all of the governors coming together, all of the politicians, to tag IPOB a terrorist organization, and with the intention to hand us out to the Nigerian Fulani terrorist government of Nigeria and the terrorist government of Britain and the rest of the world, to dismantle, exterminate the name IPOB, to stop us and kill as much as they could kill. And they did it to some extent, to a certain extent. Even today, they are still fighting with it. Then the typical example is the Operation Python dances, which have been claiming lives, and P2B killing MASOB members, throwing them in the rivers. And we see them colliding with, what is it called? Wike. And the guys using the name of IPOB, they began to kill every Igbo young man or young boy they got in Obigbo, and too many other things still happening. And also, we saw recently, even though Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has instructed that there should no longer be open protest in land, yet the DOS arranged a protest which had also claimed the life of some of the IPOB member just last month. And it is not a surprise to me that these have been the designs and the fight strategies of the Ohanese, and including the rest of them, against us, the IPOB. Yet, we are still progressing. So, then, he said, God forgive us. That is one of the prayers Mazi Nnamdi Kanu prays. God forgive us as we forgive our offenders. But there is no forgiveness. There is no forgiveness. Even the problem is that we IPOB will forgive, because this prayer is prayed on behalf of all of the Biafrans. We will forgive those who offend us. But even those who we do not offend, that even if we do not offend them, like the Ohanese, like the Igbo politicians, like the rest of them, we never have offended them in any way. Yet they are oppressing us. Yet we are forgiven. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu have been forgiving a lot of people. And it is some of those people he had forgiven that plan to set him up for this extraordinary rendition. So what are your take concerning this?
Thank you.
God bless you, really good.
You know, our leader has made it explicitly clear that what we are doing is a divine cause. And when you are doing such a project that God is in it, the enemies will not fold their hands and watch you get out of their net. So exactly what they are meant to do is what they are doing. Just like you said, it's a clear-cut instruction, plan given to them both from outside and within, only to make sure that the kingdom of God is not established. But they have come too late, just like Mazi answered that Fulani woman that interviewed him, which I can't remember her name. When the lady was asking Mazi, what and what can be done so that you drop your quest? And Mazi said, it is way too late. Because the people that they have killed How can they overlook such? How can they ask for continuance or even for forgiveness so that we be one? Mazi told them it's way too late. We have crossed the Rubicon. Because the atrocities that has been done, the wickedness that has been done in that contraption, you cannot find it anywhere in the world. Other countries that did maybe have a war or something like the same genocide of one country, if I should remember the name, they have been compensated somehow. They have been recognized. But Biafra is still not being looked upon by the UN, by the AU, by the so-called leaders of the world. And yet it's from Biafra that they are taking all their economic help or whatever that they have been stealing. Stealing and taking it just like that without payment. Still, they don't consider those people. After 100 years, as I had, such a country that went into war like Biafra should not face another war. But this evil beast called AU and the UN, they are bent on making sure that Biafra does not come. But that's where they have failed. That's where they are human. Because they cannot decide for God. When Israelites were scattered all over the world, nobody believed, apart from what God said, that Israel would be a nation. And in 1946, they were. So what we are saying here is this. They can kill, they must go on killing, because that is what they want to do, and that is what they are known for. But all this killing, all this conspiracy against Biafra will never stop Biafra coming. Just like the Pharaoh in Egypt didn't stop Israelites from coming out when God said it was time. The Berlin Wall they thought would never divide was broken down. The Roman Empire, the same. It happened to them. Their rule stopped. So God has planned for us, Biafra. If not, he wouldn't have sent Mars. If not, Mars will not be this hell-bent. Can we imagine what is going on there? But I thank God he said where he is a hell. But he is much hell than what they are doing to him, because he knows what he's talking about. He knows what he's talking about. He knows the promise God has given to him. And we know that God's word can never fail. It can never. He has sent him to finish what Ojukwu started, just like Mazi said earlier. Ojukwu had no time to prepare our minds, to educate us really on what is the problem that we Biafran are facing. Because the thing came sudden on him. But Mazi, God gave him a lengthy time so that he will prepare the children of God, the children of light. And he did prepare us. That is why you and I are here still today. And it doesn't matter the number that we are in. All God requires of us is faithfulness, continuity, honesty. That's what Mazi brought to us. We can never defend ourselves from this evil acting like them as well. We can never. The only people that can fight evil, which Mazi have done it, he said he would destroy the zoo with the truth. He would decimate them. And we all are seeing it. We all are seeing that Nigeria If they lie, let them continue pushing, giving it oxygen. A dead horse is a dead horse. It's thinking. And Mazi said, the more they delay to bury that dead horse, the more they stink from that dead horse, which is Nigeria, will worsen their existence. I thank God that everything that Mazi said has come to pass. Everything. There's none one that one cannot say it didn't come to pass. Before it happens, he has already said it because God was giving him words. He said, they live in a we that are hearing it, that are obeying what he said, not like the obedience, that knew what happened to his people, but were willing to give themselves like Judas, so that they can maintain their stomach infrastructure. Like what you were saying, maybe you didn't come close to the area of the tape. The British government handed over Nigerian leadership to fools, to violent murderers, which are the Fulanis, that cannot reason, whose wife and children and inheritance is cow. They are not different from cow. The British handed over this zoo to them and to the fools indeed. But then we have their counterpart, their second, which are the Judases, which now work with them. Take money and sell your brother. Take money and forfeit your freedom, which nothing can quantify your freedom. That was why Jesus said, what can man give in exchange of his freedom, in exchange of his life, in exchange of his nation? There's nothing, no money in heaven and no silver, no gold. So all these efulefus, all these intellectuals, no matter who they are, from top to bottom, hanging around, trying to deceive themselves, because it's only themselves they will deceive. They can never deceive those who have known the truth, like the blind man, which the olden time they wanted to shut his mouth. He said to them, you cannot tell me that once I was blind, but now I am seeing. We now know that we cannot and will never have any show or business with the Fulanis, with the zoological, with the contraption of the Britain, because it's not a nation and it was not formed to help anybody. Trump called it shithole, and it's a dungeon shithole for that matter. We cannot continue with them. The relationship has been severed. So it doesn't matter how many pastors and the prophets that have been before Mazi came on board, who has been jumping up and down, their collaborators, partners in crime with the Fulanis, the so-called pastors and prophets in that zoological. All they want is their money, their tithe, their offering, and they come out dishing fake prophecies, and people are still headlong following it. But we have only one prophet, true prophet of God. That is Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. He has told us all that we need to know, all that we need to have with us to get that freedom. And that is the truth that we are using and will continue using. Perseverance will continue. Hitting on the wall with our hammer of truth until this Berlin Wall, then it is a zoological British wall of slavery. It will fall. We must continue telling it to them. It must fall because the prophet of God have said it. The prophet of God have declared it, and that's what we are holding on. None of his word will fall to the floor. Yes. So that's what keeps me going. I don't look at those who are playing or using Biafra as a business organization or as a place where they can come and show their ego. or the intellectualism. I'm not looking at them. I'm looking at the word. If it is Simon, he said, we are looking at the Baal. I'm looking at the word that Mazi said. Only one man have held down a whole contraption, a whole British government, because they are afraid of him. They are scared of him. That's why they keep him there. But he's more freer than them that are outside. So we must get Biafra. We must continue. Not these killings will stop us. Mazi said they will come and kill us. I will kill them. And at the end, Biafra will come. And even if it's only one or two people that are truly humble enough to put aside their ego, put aside whatever they think they know, and live only the truth and humility, which we saw in our mass. Because we cannot offer what we didn't receive. We received from him. And that's what we are bringing out. God will help us get Biafra. And the same God will vindicate Mazi and will not let all this wickedness, even in Biafra land, among the IPOB so-called, none of them will get out of this punishment that they are bringing for delaying Biafra and for delaying Mazi's release. He told us if we don't see him, we are capable of burning down this zoo. How many have done that? We have not done it. We are still jumping up on all the video, the clip, the film that God is showing to Biafra in everywhere, so that we will know that it's no more time for us to continue sleeping. Still, our people are deaf and dumb. But thank God, God does not save by multitude or by those that are mighty in strength or in oratory. God works with the humble, the faithful, the truthful people who have hold on to the status schools of what freedom is all about. They must get it. Thank you. I stop so far.
God bless you really good. God bless you really good. Veteran, according to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, Nigeria is long dead and gone. Then, on the contrary, Olu Obasanjo of recent gathered the so-called Igbo elites led by Governor Charles Chukwuma Soludo of Anambra State. Emmanuel Iwanyanwu was present. Many of them were present. In their presence, Olusegun Obasanjo said that Biafra died since 1967. And Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is saying because Nigeria is dead, all that Nigeria provides is dead to the masses. And the people responsible for providing this debt are the kinds of Obasanjo who hijacked oil wells, including, they call themselves the first 11, Ibrahim Baramosi Babangida, Yakubu Gowon, Theophilus Danjuma, Olusegun Obasanjo, all of the people who fought, who committed the Biafra genocide. They are the people hijacked, including Ahmed Tinubu is a shareholder, including what is it called? Mohammed Abubakar Mohammed, Sultan of Sokoto. These are the people who have hijacked all of the oil wells in Biafra land all over, and they were selling them. That is selling them. Then the Britain collecting the whole money, giving them some little fraction, which they still take back to do what they call foreign investment. So all that Nigeria provides to the masses is destruction and the death of destiny, death of everything. And it is obvious that Nigeria is not workable. So standing on this point, Nigeria is dead long ago, even before it was orchestrated, because it is never designed for the well-being of the people. While also Kenneth Okonkwo, aka Living in Bondage, said Biafra had died since 1966. But the same Kenneth Okonkwo is still crying concerning the robbing of the mandate of the obedient. which means the Nigeria he is supporting is still also killing him, killing his future. So, veteran, what do you have to say regarding this? And the Biafra map is on Google. Biafra map is on Google, which is a clear evidence. Google is not owned by us, Biafrans, which means Biafra has a world recognition. Only that those who recognize Biafra are the people, are still the conspirator. That is the reason they do not want to acknowledge the restoration of Biafra. What is your take regarding this? Nigeria is dead versus Biafra is dead. Then how is Biafra still living? And can Nigeria still live? Can Nigeria still live? I say Nigeria can never live anymore. Veteran, take over the microphone.
Thank you so much.
God bless you, really good.
Biafra is a nation older than the majority of nations in the world, older than Britain, older than Belgium, older than Greece, and it continues to live. And this is why Britain is afraid, Belgium is afraid, and all of them, the global conspirators, are afraid. Because they know that Biafra is a spirit. Biafra is alive. Biafra is an ideology. And it must be restored. It doesn't matter how the demon wants to steal it away, how the demons want to cover it up, how the demons want to destroy it. But it is not the work of human hand. You cannot destroy the work of Chukwuokike Abiyama. He is the creator of nations. And so you cannot compare it with the zoo, Nigeria. That is the work of a human hand. The work of drunkards. The work of tourists. The work of hijackers who claim they go about the world to discover. What are you discovering? Discovering what was there or what was not there. So Britain, like they shared everything in Belgium, because that was where they shared everything. You, France, go to this part of Africa. You, Britain, go to this part of Africa. You, Belgium, go to that part. And so they shared Africa to themselves because of the wealth and riches of Africa. And as if that is not enough, they sent their pastors and priests with their Bible in one hand and their gun in the other hand. And they came like sheep in lions, in wolves' garments. They came, and they were warned already in Berlin. What do you call it? Is it Belgium?
Yeah, Berlin Conference.
That these people you are going to, they have existed long ago, even before us, before them. And they know God more than you. Do not go there to preach God. Don't go there to preach. Try to change the narrative. And make sure you buy their people, over those who will use to destroy their brothers. And they came, they made this one. You are now the chief of catechist, the chief catechist, the chief cook, the chief that. And they like foolish people that we are. Hey, we jump up. They give us something, the food. They give us something, the milk. I now eat with Oyibo, who is like me again. Shut up! Shut up! Don't talk where I'm talking. And our leader used this as a case study. Because these people will come and pick up disgruntled elements. People who were nobody in the community. People who were rejected in the community. They came and they gave them feathers. Now they take them all through our Appian way. So where our secrets are. And they will go and destroy. This is what they sent the pastors and priests to do. And they changed our way of looking at things. You can listen to Mazen Namdekano, who God gave all the wisdom to enlighten us, to give us the truth. Our women tying 2 pieces of wrapper. Our marriage was not, we don't wear rings. Rings are nothing to us.
Yes.
The identity of a married woman is this 2-piece wrapper. And that is the pride of our women. That they tie this 2-piece wrapper. That is their pride. A woman that was not married will only tie one. But they came and changed it. Hey, we have to put a ring. What does ring mean to us? We have a marriage system. A woman is married publicly. It's a marriage, it's a contract, a marriage of family. And so Britain came to create this company. Then you are saying you can compare it with the Biafra that God made thousands of years before you. You came to do what? To discover it, to jam it with a non-entity, to jam it with your investments, and to destroy the people. Nigeria is dead. Nigeria is never has never been alive. Nigeria is no country. It's no nation. It's a public liability. It's a dumping ground. And this is why they also use the disgruntled people to rule it. Foolish people handed it over to fools because they know they can control those ones. They cannot control Biafrans. We know more than them. And that is why they are fighting tooth and nail to make sure Biafra is not restored. Ojukwu went to Aburi with Gowon, the fool, the idiot, whose relation was captured by Boko Haram. And he did not utter a word. He allowed he calls himself a Christian. Gowon is a born-again Christian. And he allowed her daughter, because the girl is from his place, allowed her to be held in a camp, to be harassed, molested by all of them, to make her a sex bag. And she had to give birth to 2 children in the bush where they kept her. And no person talked about it. One did not talk about it. So imagine all of them sharing because of the wealth in Biafra land, which all of them are sharing. Olusegun Obasanjo, the fool, the monkey, the ape, gathering his boys in Anambra State to declare, say Biafra is dead, died. Who gave him that authority? God. I thought you would have struck him down even there, because he challenged you. He did not challenge us. He challenged you, the creator of nations, the maker of nations, the ruler of nations. Obasanjo challenged you. What about the fool you talked about? What is his name? The actor.
Kenneth Okonkwo, aka living in bondage.
Yes. That fool who studied law and turned into an actor. He left his profession.
Because Nigeria cannot afford him the necessary work he needs. Yes.
Okay. And so he left it. And the idiot who calls himself Obi, now he can see for himself that they are all dead. Biafra is alive. They are the ones dead, not Biafra. Can they see how their one Nigeria never lived? It has no law, nothing. It doesn't matter how the United Nations, how the European Union, how the stupid ones, OAU, stupid, very stupid indeed. Because Nnamdi Kanu is not fighting just for Biafra. He's fighting for the emancipation of all black race. Fighting for Uganda. Fighting for Kenya. Despite the fact that the idiot called Obama, the fool, the demon, that was used as a distraction to the black race. One day you will hear that they carry another idiot to make him the Pope of a Catholic Church. To tell you, hey, we are one. Hey, we are one. We recognize you, but you cannot speak. I know of all the bishops and the cardinals.
Yes.
The pastors and whoever.
They will not speak, but only to carry us and hand over to the oppressors.
Yes. They cannot even speak they cannot talk even where the boy that is ordained by him, as long as he's a white person, he cannot even talk. He will take orders and the commands from them, only to come back to Africa to carry his shoulders high, walk with might and whatever scepter. I'm a bishop. I'm a priest. I am that. But to come to where you are met, you cannot talk. You fear to speak the truth. Then who are you? If you, a priest, cannot say the truth, cannot speak the truth, you are only regurgitating the scriptures the way they handed it over to you. You're only regurgitating the theology you learned. That is the only thing you are saying. You cannot speak the truth. You are not sincere. You are not honest. Mazen Nnamdi Kanu said consistency is the key. Perseverance is the key. Passion is the key. Biafra is alive and can never die, no matter what the UN does. UN that is supposed to be the United Nations, where the truth is held supreme. They gave orders, ultimatum to the zoo. Release Mazen Nnamdi Kanu under 6 months. And what has happened? It is almost a year. It was not followed up. What does that tell you? That Obama has oil well in Biafra land. UN has oil well. Holland has oil wells. And all of them, they have shared it. And so they cannot make any pronouncement that is meaningful. Biafrans, please, let us stand up and take what belongs to us. Because we'll be happy if you do. We will carry all other blacks on board, just like Japan did. The boundary is drawn. Our leader has made it clear. By wisdom, the boundary is drawn, the boundary of Biafra. And the truth is the only thing. Thank you very much. Let me rest.
God bless you, really good veteran. Yes, Mazen Nnamdi Kanu said it, that Biafra had existed 5,000 years. 5,000 years prior to this broadcast, which were from where we extract this message. And he goes on to say that Biafra is older than Greece, including Britain, including many other European countries, including America. 5,000 years, because America is not...
America of yesterday.
America is not even up to 1,000 years. So, Biafra had been a nation of it, but these nations, they collude, they connive, they conspire to form their business center, which they name Nigeria. Only to turn to tell us that Biafra has died, because they don't want the existence of Biafra. The existence of Biafra will always prove to the world whom they really are and whom we really are. That is the reason they use the idiots, group of idiots who cannot make a good society, to become the rulers. Only, that is, scavengers becoming the rulers, only to grab their own and destroy everything, and to have cordiality with the oppressors against their own people. To fear Aqua. Mama Patricia, see, he said, according to Mazen Nnamdi Kanu, a nation state is a state in which the majority of the people share the same culture, share the same cultural value. That is a nation. And he proved it with Biafra, that we share cultural value. All of the people that make up the Biafra, we share cultural value. Our women dressing with tying of two wrappers, two pieces of wrappers, then garnishing it with blouses, with a headscarf. That becomes our pattern of dressing, which does not exist among other people. And Mazi Nnamdi Kanu makes us to understand that it is not culture that bring the Northerners together, using the Fulanis, the Hausas, and the Kanuris as classical example. Rather, what brought them together is Hausa language and the religion, and that is Islam. That is what brings us together. And also, we have lectured the people that a nation is not built on religious and tribal sentiments. Rather, it is built on the collective interest of the people and of people of the same culture. So there is no similarity of culture between these people. These are the points Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has to prove that make Nigeria not to be a nation. Rather, it was a people bringing forcibly to join them together, then creating division among them, creating the thieves, then handing over power to the thieves to be stealing alongside the oppressors. While they steal, they hand over to the oppressors, taking them to their own land, including stealing our own people. That is the reason they were even stealing our people, selling them as slaves to the oppressors. And the same slavery has continued in different dimensions. The slavery had continued, and how it is worse now is that they have made the place uncomfortable for people. Like, even people are finding ways to run out. It is out of frustration that many of us ran out from that place, for that contraption. So these are some proofs. So what other proofs do you have? What other proof do you have that make Nigeria not to be a nation? And all these proofs should be going in the kinds of what kind of disagreements, what makes Nigeria impossible for people to unite together, to cooperate, because this is what should make a nation. And to talk about the culture is nowhere to be found to be the same. Only in Biafra territory you can find people of the same culture. Then if you want to talk about the Yoruba, you talk about people of the same culture because they are Yoruba, and you cannot talk about the entirety of the people. So what is your take on this?
Yeah, Mazi has always been right. That's why every one of us, we know it already, that he wouldn't have even come out. He said if not that God sent him, he wouldn't come out to do this great task. He wouldn't. But because God called him, that's why he said, and he didn't come in vain. He came with a purpose, with a mission. And that mission, he has fulfilled it. Because he has opened the bushel where every human being that is in that contraption was covered in. Mazi opened the pot lid, the cover, and we came out. We can now see with our two eyes. We can now know the difference between two things that are being showed to us. We are no more fools like before. We are no more ignorant like before. You know, before we were thinking that we are all one Nigeria, just like they keep saying. And the question is, which other country in the world do you hear one this country? Even Ghana here. Ghana doesn't answer one Ghana, one Tanzania. Let's leave the European country. One Uganda. You don't hear such rubbish. It's only in the contraption created by the devilish terrorist Britain. Because all they are good to do is to steal, to loot people's gold. Now they are even going into human resources, organ parts and all that. All that is all they know. to sit on the wealth of other people, steal it to their own country, and store it there. They are the ones now that have created this so-called leaders, created them and posted them to every part of Africa, so that the people will be doing their bit. If they don't do, after we have had this thing, I'm not just saying what maybe out of what is we are seeing it, we are living in it. But they also said it, we washed their clay. They are the ones that created these Sidopo governors. And when you don't do what they want you to do, they kill you. But they will only kill those. They will only leave those who want what they are asking them to carry on. But those who refuse, like Mazi said, where do you find them? In the prison, outside the country, or under the earth. That's where you find the true sons, the true activists, liberators. That's where you found them. And we see it in Jesus Christ. His own people could not, his own nation, land, didn't want him. Neither do they want his teaching, because he was saying what was truth. The world hates truth. The world hates light. The world hates righteousness. The world hates anything good. So if you are accepted by the world, that means you're doing the evil that they are doing. So Mazi have told us, and our General Ojukwu also told us, that's a contraption of the British. Their own people said it, that they are the ones who have made Africa or even Nigeria the way it is. Because if they don't do it, they themselves will come low and Africa will excel. And they don't want that. So they created all these things to manipulate Africa, to make Africa to stay low and be blaming themselves. And be saying that they are not, is their godfathers or whoever that have contracted sin, not to the white people. That is why Mazi said we cannot continue in this ignorance. And God brought him to expose the lies and open our dark eyes. And because our eyes has been opened, we cannot go blind anymore. We'll continue in this way. So we are not, there's nothing like one Nigeria. There's nothing like a nation, because what else do we expect? They themselves know that it's not a nation. Them that created it know. It's a business depot for European country, for Britain in particular. So apart from being a business depot, it's also their shithole dumping ground, where they dump everything that is evil, everything that is sick, poisoned. That's where they dump it, because they don't take it to be a nation. You can't go to any other nation and dump your mess, because you know it's a nation. But they can do all these things here because they know it's not a nation. It's only a ground where they kill, peel, and shed blood, so that they can, with intimidation, cut out all their wealth to live well in their country. That is why shame betide, internal shame. Any man who have had Mazi and from Ojukwu time, having exposed this truth, and any man who have also seen the handwriting on the wall by the same white people saying what each time we hear it, they will come to the media to talk. Is it talking the issue? Is talk and walk. Not just talking, but they cannot talk even. They are afraid of their life. But Jesus said, he who does not deny himself and take up his cross is not fit for this freedom fighting. He who think that he should secure his life will lose it. You will lose that life. You accumulate wealth, you will lose that wealth. Mazi said, go and serve the zoo, and you come back ashamed. And it's happening to them this day. How is it a nation? It's not a nation. Because every nation takes care of its citizens anywhere they are in the world. But this one tells the nations in the world to kill their citizens. to deport them. And when they are deported, they finish them up, the remaining breath that they have. See, Mazi now, they went and stole him and renditioned him, kidnapped him, renditioned him to the zoo. And there is where they are torturing him. Is it a nation? Can you sentence the man who didn't do anything? No, you cannot. They don't have law. The law they have is terrorist law, and Britain loves it. Fulani loves it. So that's what they are hanging on. Terrorist country, nothing more. Now, how will it be a nation? Other nations, like I was saying, they take care of their citizens. These ones don't take care of their citizens from top to bottom. They don't educate their citizens. They don't provide job for their citizens. They don't even make the movement for their citizens to be easy for them. Their citizens have all it takes to be like any other country in the world, even better. But they have hoarded those things. And that was what they did during lockdown. When other countries provided for their own, these ones didn't provide. They want their citizens to die. Now, seeing that they cannot achieve it, now they sent their foot terrorist men in the name of a headsman to go and be killing people anyhow they want. And you still want us to say it's a nation. How is it a nation when even in their fake sham election they did, they are even telling the Igbos, go to your land. Go to your land. You are not permitted to vote here. How is it a nation? How do any thinking right man still think he will continue in this kind of communion or partnership? I don't know what I should call it. It's not a nation. Because they hate every one of them hate themselves, apart from the Igbos who want to make it one. And we have been telling them to wake up. They don't love each other. Everybody wants their own person. Like one man I listened to the other time. He said African problem is not even who will bring a good leadership. Or what they are interested in is this man from my own tribe. And I remembered what this journalist interviewing Simon, that stupid journalist, I don't know his name, was telling him, but Obi is from your side. Why are you people criticizing him? Why are you people not happy with him for him to win? And Simon answered him rightly. We are not here to do tribalism. It is the tribalism and this joining contraption that have killed this whole called business setup you people have put in and call it a nation, a country. So it's not, because if it is one, everyone will have the privilege to study. Nobody will not have to make, for instance, me being an Igbo person and I want to travel abroad, I will go and change my name to either Yoruba name or Fulani name or Hausa name. Are we kidding here? Who is calling it a nation? Nobody will be able to hold all the wealth in his yard until the money spoils and they'll bring it out to go and burn it. Which nation are they talking about? This is not a nation. Ojukwu said it, Mazi said it. I will never be. So the fools, the intellectuals, the pampas wearers that are coming and jumping about that is a nation, because it's the infrastructure of stomach nation. That's all. It's for them. But for Biafra, we know that we have no part and part, no portion of part in this rubbish the British created. That's why we have made up our mind to go. And anyone among us that have sold his soul because he want the continuity of this rubbish here, they don't know that Mazi, the servant of God, they should fear that man, because none of them will go scot-free. None of them, inside and outside, making business, delaying this exodus of our people, Biafra. It will never go well with them. So what I'm saying in conclusion is that we are not one, because we don't wear the same clothing. We don't eat the same food. We don't even worship the same God. We are worshiping the living God, creator of heaven and earth. Why they are worshiping their Allah and their Muhammad? It's not the same. Our own, there's liberty. Their own worshiping, there's no liberty. If you do anything, they kill you out of the way. There's no way this can be one. No the same dressing, no the same language, no the same church, no the same culture. Nothing can make these people one. It's like mixing oil with water. You can never do it. You only Nigerians, the leaders, Britain, you are compiling the damnation that will come upon you.
Mama Patricia, hold your line of thoughts. You are going to say something. Hold your line of thoughts. You are going to say something, even though you have concluded. Just take 2 minutes. You know, there is a very vital issue you have mentioned, the issue of worshiping different gods. That is what caused problem in the land of Israel. When you talk about Allah, the Allah is about the sun god, the Baal Jezebel brought from his hidden nation. You know, Jezebel was not indigenous to Israel. She was a foreigner like those of Solomon's foreign wives, whom he married and brought into Israel, and they brought different gods. And this is what caused a trouble between the real worshippers of God, led by Elijah, and against Jezebel and the king Ahab. And you see the same intimidation. Those who do not succumb to what they believe, their next option is to kill the people. And it was against the real God. So anywhere these things exist, there is always the problem. So our people may not understand the spirituality behind all these forces, and the spirit, the same spirit is the spirit ruling the Fulanis. So there can never be a peace. And that is the reason Nigeria is not a country. And this is to prove to you that God never wanted us to be one, but we are forcing ourselves to be one, apart from some of us who have come. Now, I want you to as you have concluded, just say something. How can you help? According to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, Fulani committed genocide in Idoma about 280 years ago. And then the Igbos, the Biafrans, precisely from Anambra and Enugu State, contributed number of men to go to Idoma to be pregnanting their women by marriage and by every means possible to have them raise children, and which means the Idomas are indigenous to the fathers who gave birth to them, even previous to that. So they are indigenous. He gave much example, but he gave one assignment. That is the reason I want you to speak. He gave one assignment, and that assignment is that let the Anambra and the Enugu people go and ask the elder people in their communities. So that this is about advancing the education, and you are from Anambra. So how far can we go to ask the elders so that they will give us more information? And I'm saying it so that the Anambra people who will be watching this program will also do the needful, meeting the elders, asking them to tell them the more, to tell us the more about the history of the Idomas. So then, they claim it, the Fulanis claim the Idoma and Britain inclusive, to put it in the north, as if they are not. Why for real? They are Biafrans. And that is the reason Mazi Nnamdi Kanu said some part of Benin State is still Biafra land. Why it is as if he is dragging a land that does not belong to us. So, my Patricia, just round up on this within 2 minutes.
Yeah, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, our Hamadike, like the women sang. Ukwono ya sam sam, uju ya sam sam, brain ya computer. Because none can withstand the wisdom that comes from above. No human being can do that. And that's what God equipped him with, for him to conquer that group, which will never rise again. Like we keep saying, they are wasting their time going round and round. The cow is dead, the horse is dead. So they can go on and flog it as much as they want. That compounds that is the destruction that will hit them. Then they will know that they have touched the apple of God's eyes. So coming to this Idoma people, our people don't need to go to find out because they all know the truth is out there. The truth is out there. They know it. No matter where they did this, their divide and rule techniques that they tactics that they brought in. The people there, Mazi said, how do you know the boundary? You know who is Igbo. You know where you have reached the land where Igbos are staying with the rapper that they are carrying. If they tie two rappers, then you know it's Igbo. If you watch their culture, if you watch what they eat, if you watch their name, you know that they are Igbo. So it doesn't matter how this dangerous diversity, this creation of the British contraption, it doesn't matter because we all know it, that this conflicting value system that they have put together is only leading to destruction and nothing more. Our people don't need to go and find the Idoma people to ask them. It is there. It is there. They know the truth. And even I saw some clips where some young men, they are going about getting these informations now. So it's all over social media. Maz never said anything that is not true. So if they want to find out, they should also go and find, but finding out doesn't make them that they have known, they have, they have gone into new idea. It's there. They should go and listen to all the teachings of Maz. It's with facts and figures. They should go and refer. Biafra should go and refer to all the broadcasts of Mazi and re-listen to them again. That's where they get all the facts. That they divide us and share us from Kogi and here, there. The blood still speaks louder than whatever the human being have created. You cannot change the creation of God and the place that God has placed his inheritance and the boundaries. That keeps us going. They can deny it from now till tomorrow. It does not rule out the truth. The truth must surface and the truth must reign. Thank you, because our time is going.
God bless you, really good. So, veteran, take over the microphone. And we are going to talk about the brain damages the Yoruba media have been causing to us. We were all blindfolded. And whenever we hear about news, we pick the interest of listening to news. We never knew that BBC, CNN, all of these mega broadcasting firms, then coming to all of the Nigerian broadcasting firms being managed by the Yorubas. So I don't mean that there are no good Yorubas, but it is about all of the broadcasters, the licensed broadcasters who are Yorubas in Biafra land, in that contraption called Nigeria. They have been doing the work of brain damage to the indigenous people, blindfolding their own Yorubas, blindfolding the Hausas, blindfolding the Igbos, blindfolding every other people, only for the chunks that the politicians gave to them. So, and this is what Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is trying to liberate us and liberate the Yorubas, liberating the rest of the people from. So if not because of God, that we may have even maybe one or two among the people who do not support this brain damage among the Yorubas, and they are not licensed, they are not federal government licensed broadcasters. It is just few in the diaspora speaking in the favor of the people. So what do you have to say? So if not that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has come to work at the consciousness of the people, veteran, what do you think will be the state of the mind of the people if we were still blindfolded until now? By now, even like people like us will be fighting against Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Why these people will be lying? The same thing, even now we have known the truth, they are still fighting. So what do you think this should have resulted? What do you think this should have resulted, this brain damage? And think of what if we stop? If we stop and keep quiet, they continue with this brain damage broadcasting system, then what effect do you think it will have on the entirety of our people?
Thank you very much.
God bless you.
Every profession has.
Sorry, veteran, sorry. As you speak, don't forget to talk about the divide and conquer system of the Brits and the Fulanis against us. Talk about the two together.
Like I was saying, every profession has its mechanism. It could be true mechanism, it could be false mechanism. Communication is simply an ask. Communication. I know that there was a time I was teaching at Emmanuel Secondary School, Ubokolo. And there was also the School of Basic Studies. I was also teaching one or two things there. And what happened? There was a rainstorm that struck just a part of the building because we were harboring Emmanuel School of Basic Studies because Emmanuel College was such a large place at Ubokolo. So my principal then was an Irish man, O'Brien. So they gave the newspaper came that School of Basic Studies and Emmanuel Secondary School were simply destroyed completely. And we were eating because we eat together in the table. He brought the paper and said, look at what these people have said. Where is this thing seen here? So what are we saying? They are liars. They have to create the topic to sell their markets. They have to promote their lies. And we know that the Yorubas are into this dabo and whatever it is. This is their area. This is their business. Printing and so on. We do not share it with them. But it is most unfortunate that a Yoruba man is a liar. It doesn't matter who. And this is why when you have a kind of fizzle with them, they will behave as if they have anything to offer, but the next one, they will run and deny you. So they are people that deny easily. They are the people that tell lies easily. And this is why we hate this Yoruba communication system. Unfortunately, like you said, they are the people that have the license. The Biafrans are only very new in this sector. They hijacked this sector so much. The Yorubas hijacked it and did not leave it to any other group. And this was why during the Nigeria-Biafra war, we couldn't make any impact. We only have one voice, Okoko Ndem. Every other thing was Yoruba, CNN, BBC, because they eat together. They drink together. And they tell lies. They go on framing people. Just like when they killed Saddam Hussein, they have to put a masquerade on him so that you and me will stone Saddam Hussein wherever we see him, because they have so painted him in a way that he is hated by all. Just like who is that person? Esau, was it Esau? No. Cain and Abel, was it?
Yes.
And when he killed his brother, Abel, God, he became so afraid because God cursed him. And God said, no one will kill you. Don't worry. Go ahead. But the evil that men do lives with them. So the Yoruba group knows that they are cursed. They are cursed. And because they are cursed, they become more afraid. They carry as much money. They are only interested in just the money they carry to cover the truth, to tell lies. You can remember the only person that was almost saying the truth was what do you call him? The one Babangida killed.
Yeah, I will continue. I will remember his name. Delegiwa. Delegiwa, yes.
So he was writing about the 10 ills of the zoo. And what did Babangida, who is now on wheelchair? These are all criminals. Sent a letter bomb. Even as early as those days when he did it, whoever knew that you can send a bomb through letter? And most of them prefer money to their lives. They do not want to die, even though they are already in that business. Even though they are partners to crime. And they will always be partners to crime. An average Yoruba man is a partner to crime. But we know that so many of them are not. Look at what happened there. What do you call it? Something.
FFK.
FFK. You think they are with you?
Femi Fanikayode.
Yes. Do you think they are with you?
Chameleons.
But at the slightest chance, like you rightly mentioned it. Chameleons. That's what they are. They will come to you as a friend and try to get out what you think they are supporting you. The next day, they change. So that's who they are. And this is why our leader, Mazen Nnamdi Kanu, hated them with a passion. And this was why our eternal leader hated them with passion. Because when, after the meeting at Aburi, he came back and Britain advised Gowon not to respect whatever agreement. Ojukwu, in his wisdom and whatever, had to pick up Banjo, try to convince Banjo, let us go and the job of the Midwest. Let us combine and do this thing. So that when we get this freedom, you will also get your own. And the Midwest will get their own. They agreed. Even it was not even up to 1 month. Biafrans had arrived at Ore. And at Ore, Banjo declined. Awolowo called him. What are you doing? Banjo declined. Ejo declined. And the zoo started pursuing Biafrans from Ore in union with the Yorubas, in union with the Midwest. And all of them turned against Biafra with their propaganda, the Yoruba propaganda, the CNN propaganda, the BBC propaganda. Thank God that today technology has changed the system. They have no monopoly of communication any longer. And this was why our leader advised that we go on Twitter while they write their junks from their gutters. We tweet and counter whatever they are writing. I wish Biafrans will resuscitate this system. Mazin Nnamdi Kanu recommended it seriously, and he was annoyed. He's always annoyed when he doesn't get a maximum of this cooperation. So let us look at it, because our enemies are not relenting. Whatever means we can use, we can harness to make our point and our voice heard globally, the better for us. Because most of these people here, I was in the hospital, and one of my roommates in the hospital asked me where I came from. I told him I am a Biafran. He said, hey, that very poor country, that very wretched people. I said, you are misinformed, my dear. Biafra is never poor. Biafra is richer than Italy. Biafra is richer than European Union put together. Biafra is richer than Britain and United States of America. So you are the people making it so. We have all the oil in the world. We have all the diamonds in the world. We have all the gold. You can find them. You have nothing here. That is why you have Egypt, you have Chevron, you have Shell, you have all of you coming to steal our oil. Who was that in the creek that showed us the ship that carries away tons and tons and tons and tons of oil without notice? Nigerian government, the zoo government has all the equipment to locate, to identify. But this case, they said they are not aware. So this is Britain for you. Their system of divide and rule. They divide us in order to exploit us to the maximum. And that is why when I was talking first, I told you how they brought the priests and the pastors to come and divide us in the first place, in the beginning. And just during the war, they divided us the more. Had to create states that were not there. Had to covering all the lands that was not there to other places. So that we no longer relate. So that we cut the relationship. So that Anambra and Imo will not be one again. so that Imo and Abia will not be one again. Everyone will now be working on his own. And whatever any other one does, it does not, it's a taboo to the other. Brothers in the same border will fight themselves. Say, I'm not Imo, I'm not Anambra. How can Anambra people defeat, how can Imo people defeat Anambra? These are all British mechanisms of making us not to fight as a union, because they know that divided will fall and united will ever stand. They try to break that bond, that thing that holds us together. Ebema is no more Igbo land. They divided Ebema, some to the rivers, some to Imo. They divided Izombe. They divided all dividable. Doma, Ijo, Asaba, Niger. They divided everything, and now we are battling with this identity. There is no more a unified identity of a people that are called Biafra. This is only to conquer us. But it is the stupid that will buy this system of conquering. Because like our leader have made it very clear, the boundaries are very clear. The culture is very clear. Because it is the culture that makes a people. It is not the division that Britain does. It is not the division that Fulani brings up about. Of course, Fulanis are fools. They do not know anything about this. It is only supervised and put in place by Britain and the international community. They only advise them, use this means so that the brother will no longer be seeing his brother as a brother. So that sister will no longer see his sister as sister. So Britain, that demon, that whatever you can call about this corrupt, demonic Satan. So this is the handwork, my brother. But it will not stop us from getting Biafra. Thank you very much.
God bless you, really good veteran.
Black people are more concerned with their tribe being in control than they are with liberation from foreign control. Are you following me? I've seen it. So when the elections is coming up, it's not about freeing us from white supremacy or Chinese imperialism. It's about, are my people going to be the president? Is somebody from my tribe going to be the prime minister? And because they're more concerned about tribal imperialism than African independence, this democratic scheme that they run on black people continues because we're so petty and so small in our thinking. I just want to make sure his people don't get the presidency. I'm not even looking at the bigger picture. The white man knows this. The Chinese know this. So they come in, exploit, finance both sides, so no matter who wins, they get all the resources. Black people are more concerned with their tribe being in control than they are with liberation from foreign control. Are you following me? I've seen it. So when the elections is coming up, it's not about freeing us from white supremacy or Chinese imperialism. It's about, are my people
going to be the president? Is somebody from my tribe going to be the prime minister? And because they're more concerned about tribal imperialism than African independence, this democratic scheme that they run on black people continues because we're so petty and so small in our thinking. I just want to make sure his people don't get the presidency. I'm not even looking at the bigger picture. The white man knows this. The Chinese know this. So they come in, exploit, finance both sides, so no matter who wins, they get all the resources.
So, Biafrans and the world at large, I just played, this should be the last video for today because our time is up. So, I want to give a brief analysis of this video that I have just played. So, if we as Biafrans, we as Oduduwans, we as Arewans, we know that the Fulanis are foreigners. Then the entirety of Africans, if we continue in our hypocrisy, in our sentiment, religious sentiment, tribal sentiment, when we should be facing the reality, we cannot progress. And this is what the oppressors, the foreign terrorists, have been using against us. While we will be playing our sentiment and the hypocrisy, they will be busy controlling us. That has been their weapon of warfare against the populace. And they give the same weapon to those they select and impose on us to be ruling us. And this is exactly what Tinubu and Shetima are just using. And the gullible are falling for the system. However, I still appreciate the majority of the populace who are now coming to the real realization that that is not what we really need. What we need is our interest. What is our interest? What is our take? Why should these people rule us? What are they ruling us for? Then what is the benefit of their leadership? It doesn't matter whether it is Igbo man, it doesn't matter whether it is Yoruba, it doesn't matter whosoever. But what matters is that what benefit is their leadership and what are the damages? Then if there are no benefits, why should they continue? And the people decide to choose, even though I don't support one Nigeria, but the one Nigerian is so it decided to choose Obi. They choose Obi, but because of this issue this young man is talking about, they said no, that Obi is not a tribal president. He's not a tribal presidential candidate. That if he goes there, he will not be playing the tribal or religious card. He will be neutral. He will be for everybody. That they don't want it. Because if Obi is for everybody, according to the Nigerian system, not even according to Biafra system, if he bids for everybody, the Britain, the foreigners, the cabal will lose it forever. The people will become more powerful and become more enlightened. The more we will grow wing, the positive wing, not negative. The people will grow wing, positive ones and not negative ones. So the power is ours. The power is ours. And let us not continue to make the mistake of playing petty politics of tribalism or religiosity. Let us face the reality. What do we really need in the government system? That is what we should go. So, Mama Patricia, I'm going to place, give me a little time. That is, I want to place your memory verse of the day. Then you take it from there to round out the program. Our time is already up. Then that is Luke chapter 16, 10 to 17. Okay. Now let me place it either on Facebook or on YouTube. Just hold on. Okay, let me read straight ahead. Okay, let me read, then I'll bring you in, Mama Patricia. Let me read, then bring you in. Luke 16, 10 to 70 say, he who is faithful in a very little thing is faithful also in much. And he who is dishonest and unjust in a very little thing is dishonest and just also in much. Therefore, if you have not been faithful in the case of unrighteous mammon, deceitful riches, money, possessions, who will entrust to you the true riches? And if you have not proved faithful in that which belongs to another, whether God or man, who will give you that which is your own? That is the true riches. No servant is able to serve two masters, for either he will hate the one and love the other, or he will stand by and be devoted to the one and despise the other. You cannot serve God and mammon, riches, or anything in which you trust and on which you rely. Now, the Pharisees, who were covetous and lovers of money, had all these things taken together, and they began to sneer at and ridicule and scoff at him. But he said to them, you are the ones who declares yourself just and upright before men, but God knows your hearts. For what is exalted and highly thought of among men is detestable and abhorrent and abomination in the sight of God. Until John came, there were the Lord and the prophets. Since then, the good news, the gospel of the kingdom of God is being preached, and everyone strives violently to go in, would force his own way rather than God's way into it. Yet it is easier for heaven and earth to pass away than for one dot of the law to fail and become void. Mama Patricia, just take it from there.
Thank you so much for the reading.
God bless you, really.
Here we go again. We have come to the end of today's interactive. And as usual, as custom may have it, we follow the pathway of our leader, the orator of God, who does not come up on board without offering prayers to God and presenting us before God. And by the time he finishes, he will quote from the Torah, the word of God, the guideline, the instructions that those who want life and freedom and wants to walk on the light should follow. This pathway that brings life and victory is the same way we are following today. And in today's memory verse for our Sunday school, we've had our brother Collins read it. But I want you, as you sit down, you take your own Bible, because we are children of God. And what we're doing is a spiritual thing, more of spiritual than physical. And we are to destroy the kingdom of darkness and every shackle with this word. It's a sword of the spirit, which nothing, no demon can stand before it. When you read this word, you meditate on it and you weigh yourselves. Let's weigh ourselves in this light of the truth and know where we belong. There's so many food for thought here. The first area that I want us to know, he said, you cannot serve God and mammon. Let's just take that one. So many of us are looking for freedom. But once we hear the jingling of mammon, money in our ears, we forget the freedom. We prefer the enslavement because of money. that means we are not serious. Like Collins was just asking, what do you really want? What do you want? Do you want to continue your misery and complaining and lamenting, or you want to be a free man? What do you want? Do you want the Fulanis and the Britain to continue dealing with us as if we are dogs? Or you want to be human that thinks and reasons like God made you to be? So you have to, every one of us will have to look into that. What do you want? What God are you serving? Is it the Allah and the Muhammad that makes people to chop up one's hand, open the stomach, yak out the baby that is inside? The abomination that God destroyed Sodom and other nations before this time. And that is what is going on. Our God is not a God that forces anyone or kills anyone. He has given us freedom, and that freedom you must possess it because it's your right. So ask yourself, which God am I following? The God of Mammon or the living God that has brought freedom to us? So another one that I want us to look into is in verse 17 that says, it is easier for heaven and earth to pass than one little of the law to fail. And that is exactly where we should look into why we are doing what we are doing. If God have said that no unrighteousness will go scot-free, no unrighteous man, no wicked man will go scot-free, what are your works? What are you doing as a Biafra? What do you offer to get your land and your freedom and secure your brothers? We normally say in Igbo land, how are you fighting, following the pathway of Mazdi, who has given on? He said, for us to get Biafra, we must have to, remove ourselves from everything and choose the pathway of passion, fanatic, truthfulness, honesty, sincerity, and do away with every dead God from all the prophets telling us rubbish, all the pastors telling us rubbish. We should do away with Odechi and all the... Now, I don't even understand how somebody is talking about the kingdom of God on earth that God wants to establish, which are the Biafrans. And we know his law, we quote the Bible. Yet our lives are full of evil, dirty living, stealing, lying, selling ourselves, not defending our brother that is in the prison. What Biafra are we fighting? What reward are you expecting to get from God when we don't do the needful? So knowing that Mazen has said it, even if everybody in that Biafra land is done away with, one single soul will be established, will be saved, to make sure that the kingdom of God and none of his promise given to Mazen will fall down. So let's watch our ways. Let's watch how we do this Biafran freedom fighting. Let's watch our way, how we are conniving with our enemies to stop the work of God. Because Biafra is the work of God, not Britain, not Fulani. You and I as Biafrans should come together and fight for one common interest to liberate ourselves, and to also fight against our enemies that have done everything and are doing everything to make sure they kill us. We should not spare them for the love of Mammon. Thank you, Biafrans. We'll stop it here. Until next week, may God guide us to continue on this pathway, because, as our leader said, Biafra must come. But if you don't align yourself to the righteous path, you will not be seeing Biafra. We can assure you of that. Thank you. Till next
God
time,
bless.
God bless you.
Bye, Biafrans. May God bless you
Bye,
really.